Fierce clashes continue in Tamu Township, a struggle for control in Myanmar's Sagaing region. Disclaimer: this video is not owned by Zalengam Media. The footage, images, and news excerpts used in this documentary have been sourced from various media outlets, including Zaleng News. We would like to credit Zalengam Media for providing coverage of the ongoing conflict in Myanmar. Please support independent journalism by subscribing to Zalengam Media for more updates and in-depth reports. The conflict in Myanmar has escalated to new levels of intensity in 2025, with key regions across the country becoming battlegrounds in a wider struggle for power and freedom. In the Sagaing region, Tamu Township has witnessed some of the fiercest clashes in recent weeks as revolutionary forces and the Myanmar military junta continue their violent confrontation. Since January 27, 2025, Tamu Township has been a focal point of this brutal conflict, where villages like Mintha and Kyunpintha have become symbols of resistance and military repression. What unfolds in these villages encapsulates the broader battle for Myanmar's future, as civilians and combatants alike are caught in the crossfire of an unrelenting war. This documentary provides an in-depth look at the ongoing struggle in Tamu Township, shedding light on the human cost of the conflict and the impact on the region's residents. It is a story of resilience, loss, and the fight for self-determination, as the people of Myanmar continue to struggle against a military junta that shows no signs of relenting. The battle in Tamu Township. The fighting in Tamu Township, Sagaing region, has intensified dramatically since January 27, 2025. Resistance forces, composed of various armed revolutionary groups, have surrounded the positions of Myanmar's military junta in key villages such as Mintha and Kyunpintha. The junta has dug in its heels, determined to retain control of these strategic villages despite increasingly relentless attacks by the resistance. The battle is now in its fourth day, with no sign of a ceasefire, and casualties are mounting on both sides. Tamu Township, once a peaceful rural area, has become a war zone. The sounds of gunfire, explosions, and the constant movement of military vehicles fill the air as the junta forces attempt to hold their positions. The resistance, however, is determined to force the military out of these villages and weaken its presence in the region. This ongoing struggle highlights the broader conflict unfolding across Myanmar, as the military junta seeks to reassert control over the country following the 2021 coup, while revolutionary forces continue their fight for freedom. Local sources report that the battle has caused severe damage to the surrounding infrastructure. Homes have been destroyed, roads are impassable, and entire communities have been displaced. The devastation in Mintha and Kyunpintha is a stark reminder of the human cost of war. The people of Tamu Township, like so many others across Myanmar, are caught between the two sides, forced to endure the consequences of a conflict they did not choose. Airstrikes and friendly fire. The situation took a tragic turn on the night of January 28, 2025, when the military junta launched airstrikes targeting resistance positions in and around Mintha and Kyunpintha. However, in a deadly error, the airstrikes hit positions occupied by the junta's own allies, including forces from the Shan Ni Army (SNA). This incident of friendly fire led to casualties among the SNA troops, with both fatalities and injuries reported. Such miscalculations have further complicated an already chaotic situation. The failure of the junta's airstrike targeting illustrates the peril of modern warfare, where the fog of battle and the close proximity of different armed groups can lead to tragic outcomes. For the wounded soldiers from the junta and its allies, the situation is dire. Local residents have reported that Tamu Public Hospital and Great Hospital, the primary medical facilities in the area, are overwhelmed with casualties. Doctors and medical staff are working tirelessly to treat the wounded, many of whom are severely injured. This tragic incident serves as a reminder of the indiscriminate nature of war, where both combatants and non-combatants suffer alike. The soldiers of the junta, despite their allegiance to the military, are not immune to the devastating consequences of this conflict. Their injuries, like those of the resistance fighters, are a grim reflection of the price of war. Junta's crackdown on communication. In response to the growing resistance in the region, the military junta has intensified efforts to monitor and control communication within the local population. Civilians traveling on roads leading to and from Tamu Town have reported that junta soldiers are confiscating mobile phones, particularly those with Indian SIM cards. The junta fears that these phones are being used to communicate with resistance groups, potentially compromising military positions and operations. Locals have described the tense atmosphere as military personnel stop vehicles and individuals, checking mobile phones for signs of resistance activity. If a phone is found to have an Indian SIM card, it is seized on the spot. This crackdown on communication highlights the junta's paranoia about external support for the resistance. The fear of information leaking to opposition groups or foreign entities has prompted the regime to take extreme measures to control the flow of information. For the residents of Tamu Township, this new form of surveillance is just another layer of repression in an already oppressive environment. The junta's efforts to limit communication are not just about preventing the resistance from gaining an advantage, but also about stifling any hope of external intervention or support. For many civilians, the act of owning a mobile phone has become a risk in itself, as it might be seen as a sign of dissent. Resistance forces pressing the offensive. Amidst the military crackdown and ongoing airstrikes, the resistance forces in Tamu district have continued to press their offensive. On January 30th, 2025, these forces launched a significant attack on the junta's base in Panther village, located near Tamu town. While the full extent of the fighting is still unclear, reports indicate that the confrontation was intense. The junta forces stationed at Panther are heavily fortified, but the resistance has demonstrated its ability to launch effective strikes against even the most well-defended positions. In addition to Panther, the junta's forces are spread across several other key locations in Tamu Township, including Kyunpintha, Mintha, Kuntong, and Hazen villages. If the resistance forces can successfully take control of these bases, it would mark a major turning point in the battle for Tamu Township. The loss of these key military positions would significantly weaken the junta's foothold in the region and could signal a shift in the broader conflict. For the resistance, the battle in Tamu Township is about more than just military victory. It is about reclaiming their homeland from an oppressive regime that has stolen the country's freedom. The fall of these bases would represent a powerful symbol of resistance and the hope that, despite the odds, the people of Myanmar can reclaim their future. The broader implications of the conflict. The situation in Tamu Township is a microcosm of the wider civil war that has engulfed Myanmar since the 2021 military coup. The country has been in a state of turmoil, with the military junta facing an ever-growing resistance from a variety of armed groups and pro-democracy activists. The battle for Tamu Township, while significant in its own right, is part of a larger struggle that has seen widespread protests, armed conflict, and human suffering across the nation. Sagaing region, where Tamu Township is located, has become one of the epicenters of this violence. Resistance groups have made significant gains in some areas, while the military has responded with brutal crackdowns on civilians and combatants alike. The people of Sagaing, like the people of Myanmar as a whole, have shown incredible resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Yet the cost of this resistance is steep, with lives lost and entire communities shattered. As the situation evolves, the eyes of the world are on Myanmar, and the people of Tamu Township remain at the heart of this conflict. Their courage, resilience, and determination offer a glimpse of hope in the midst of darkness. In the end, the outcome of this battle will not only shape the future of Tamu Township, but also the future of Myanmar itself. News coverage of the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. Please subscribe to Zalengam Media for regular updates and comprehensive analysis. Your support ensures that stories from the front lines of this conflict continue to reach the world.